Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Annabeth and I'm so happy you've decided to join us today. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming back. I am coming at you today. Today, as I'm recording this, is Thursday, February 8th, and that means it has been over a month since I have done a knitting update. I have not done a single one for the year of 2024 yet, so here we are. We're doing it today. Lot to talk about. Some finished objects, some acquisitions, some new whips, some fun plans. I can talk about where I'm at with goals right now. So yeah, whole lot of fun stuff. We're gonna try and follow our usual outline, so acquisitions, finished objects, whips, and then plans / goal check-in. That last one will be a little wibbly wobbly. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, starting with acquisitions, I guess. Okay, so I lied. We can't start with acquisitions because the only acquisition for up until now, like since my last knitting update that I have, is already made into a finished object. So I can't show you like a new skein of yarn or whatever, but that's okay. So we're just gonna go ahead and move right into finished objects then. As you can see, I am wearing one. Let's go ahead and ta-da! You can get the whole look. Try to get all 4 buttons in there. There we go. So cute. So I am wearing my, technically it's the oversized Seasons cardigan by Ozetta, and it is knit up in Noro Ito yarn. For most of it, I used colorway 6, but for the very bottom at the hem here, probably if I hadn't pointed it out, you wouldn't have even seen it, but if you notice how like the stripes are a little longer down here, that's because I did have to break into one of the 2 balls of colorway 19 I had. So same yarn, slightly different colorway. I think it looks fine. So yeah, this is the oversized Seasons cardigan. It is a half fisherman's rib cardigan. It recommends worsted or Aran weight yarn, and it's knit up on US 6 for the ribbing and button band and all that good stuff, and then US 8 for everything else. Let's see what else. Oh, the buttons, these cute little square buttons that I got are just from Joann Fabrics. I think it was a pack. It was a pack of 2 and 2, so I think like these 2 were in a pack together, and then these 2 were in a pack together, or it was like these 2 and the top and the bottom one. I don't know. I know the pink was with one yellow and the blue was with another yellow, and I just got both of them for a fun little added flair to the cardigan. Do I have anything else to say about this? It was my first half fisherman's rib project, so that's pretty exciting. Also my first garment of 2024. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's a great, I would highly recommend this for a first half fisherman's rib garment project. It was very easy to follow. Since it's a cardigan, it's knit flat, so that means your right side is your half fisherman's rib stitch, but then your wrong side, for the most part, except for the sleeves were knit in the round. I'm getting ahead of myself. The wrong side is straight knits. So on the sleeves, it's like 1 row of half fisherman's rib, 1 row of all purls, but like it's a sleeve. It's not that bad. But for the body and the shoulders and everything else, it's right side, half fisherman's rib, wrong side is all knit stitches, which was fantastic, and I loved doing that for the entire body. Also, the button band is a simultaneous button band. So as you can see, like the ribbing isn't coming out this way. Like if I had picked up stitches to knit the button band around afterwards, it is a simultaneous button band. It's just in 1x1 rib, and so that was something fun and new that I learned with this knit, is how to do like simultaneous button bands and then buttonholes. It got a little wild for the body, because I would have like my 8s for the half fisherman's rib, but then 2 small sets of 6s for the button bands, so that got a little wonky at times, like switching between the needles. But once I got like past the sleeve split and stuff, and I had like a lot more knitting done, so like the fabric was a little more stable, I guess, it was a lot easier. So yeah, that is one finished object. That is my main garment finished object, or my only garment finished object so far for this year. So other finished objects, let's get into that. I need to pick these up. So my other finished object, hand knit, we get to add that qualifier in now with my sock machine. My other hand knit finished object is these beauties. These are, of course, my second sample of my design, the Moonrise Socks. I knit this sample up in Painted Fern Fibre Company Shield Sock base. It is a 4-ply for my 4-ply lovers out there. And the dark green is called Embrace the Grave, and the gray silver color is Final Gasp. And this was the Painted Fern October sock set, October of last year, that they put out, and it's so beautiful. I really love the contrast between these two colors. I love how they look in my design. And speaking of this design, as I'm recording this, we are 8 days from its release. It is going to be coming out February 16th, so not tomorrow as I'm recording this, next Friday. So you can keep your eyes out for that. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll be a little bit more up to date with pattern updates and whatnot, and maybe a potential coupon code. So yeah, my Instagram is annabethkntwrthy. I don't think I said that yet, with underscores between the words. So you can keep an eye out for those. But here's my second sample, and I love them. And I love all of the color combinations that my testers have been doing. They're just an amazing, amazing, amazing group of testers, and I'm so excited to put this pattern out in the world. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. So there we go. 2 hand knit finished objects. Now we get to go into non-hand knit finished objects. So if you may remember from my knitting goals video from a little bit ago, that was kind of like my last knitting update video as well. I got my sock machine, and one of my main goals for the year 2024 was to learn how to use it to make socks. As its name implies, that's kind of its main intended purpose, but you can use it to make a lot of other things. And I have done that in the month that I haven't been talking to you guys about my knitting. I've been talking to you guys a lot about my cranking. If you follow along on this channel, not just for the knitting updates, then you know about my adventures with a sock machine. Adventures with a sock machine series. And so far there are 5 episodes posted, and in the most recent episode I did crank my first pair of socks on camera. It was my 3rd pair of socks overall. So that being said, I'm going to show you some socks in case you haven't been keeping up with those videos or keeping up with my Instagram. So dun da da da! They're so cute! So this was my first pair of socks, and this is also what my only acquisition from January was knit up into. So I knit these with a one-of-a-kind self-striping from the Little Foxes on the Red Fox sock base. And the pattern I used was the cuff down simple sock pattern from Dean and Bean's website, because I have a Dean and Bean sock machine. So here is the first pair of socks I ever successfully made on my machine. Woohoo! So I have all kinds of stats written down in my little cranking notebook over there on these. But yeah, like 30 row hung hem. I believe I did, oh gosh, I did between 60 and 70 rows for the leg. We got the short row heel. I had 50 something rows for the foot, and then the short row toe as well. So yeah, happiness and joy. So that's one pair of socks that I've cranked since my last update. Here is another pair of socks, for the most part using the same yarn. If you watched my most recent sock machine video, I went into depth, more in depth about these. I used up the rest of the one-of-a-kind self-striping, and then I finished off the second sock with same base, Red Fox sock from the Little Foxes, but this is No One Mourns the Wicked from their Wicked collection. So yeah, that was sock pair number 2 that I've made. And then the pair of socks that I cranked most recently in my most recent episode, sock machine episode, there's too many words, most recent video about my sock machine. This is the pair of socks that I cranked. Another pair of shorties. Love that. I know I've said this before on my Instagram, but making shorty socks with my sock machine has been bringing me so much joy lately. And it's just because in doing that, I get to use up all the weird little, like, 40 to 50 gram leftover cakes that I have when I hand knit socks. So, like, this pair of socks, this was leftovers from the third pair of pumpkin picking socks that I made for my aunt. And so I had, like, I don't even know, maybe like 51 grams of this color left after making those socks. So I was able to wind them up on a cone, crank out a pair of socks in a matter of hours, and they're so cute. And shorty socks are something that I could never really bring myself to hand knit because it's, I don't know, like at this point if I'm going to hand knit a pair of socks, I want it to have some sort of like really fun element like color work or texture or cables or lace or something. And I never really wanted to hand knit any shorty socks. So now that I have my machine, I'm able to just crank out some shorties so that on warmer days, like today, it's like 60 to, it's not 60. Hang on. My weather doesn't... It's 59 degrees! I got cut off. I'm gonna really hope that it cut me off while I was checking the weather. But anyway, as I was saying, I don't really have a lot of motivation to hand knit a pair of socks unless there's like color work or cables or texture or lace work or something. Like, I don't have a lot of motivation to just hand knit a pair of vanilla socks anymore. That might change as the year progresses and like I need more travel friendly projects or something, like when football season comes back around, but like at this point I can just crank out a pair of vanilla socks with a sock set even, just in a matter of hours, and it's bringing me so much joy. And also, with cranking out shorties to the point that I was trying to make, it's 59 degrees outside here today, February 8th in Northeast Ohio, and I have some hand knit socks that I can still wear and be comfortable in because they're shorty socks, and I didn't spend at least a week or two, probably more, hand knitting these. They're little shorties that I cranked out the other day, and I don't know, they're just, I'm losing my train of thought. Shorties and using up these leftovers of yarn from other knits, it's bringing so much joy right now, like an almost indescribable amount of joy. Anyway, I have 3 more pairs of shorties that I've made lately. I was just holding up this one. This is, once again, on the Little Fox's Red Fox sock. This is another color from their Wicked collection. This is Because I Knew You, and it's another pair of shorties that I made. I actually have a tiny bit of that yarn left over. This is my scrap cone from shorties that I've made so far, that I'm just gonna use as scrap yarn. If you've cranked socks on a Dean & Bean machine, you know that you need scrap yarn at the beginning of a sock, at the ends, on the toe, and then like if you're still going, like you're cranking one long tube for the pair of socks at the end of the second toe as well. So these are leftovers from recent crankings. Speaking of recent crankings, dun, 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 another pair of shorties. Are you sick of seeing shorties yet? Too bad. This is Pasley Knit's Coastal sock, I believe. I think it's her 2-ply sock. Yeah, I think it's Coastal sock. The regular superwash and nylon blend. I think it's a 2-ply as well. This is Faded Mates. This colorway also recently came back in her Rewind collection, so super cute. I love the neutrals, the browns and the grays, and like the tiniest hint of green in here. It very much gives me Terracin and Rowan and Aelin from Throne of Glass, and it brings me so much joy again. And then the final pair of socks I'm actually wearing today. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. There it is. There's the other one. Okay, let me just show you the scrap cone. So we have Because I Knew You on top here, Faded Mates, and then this last colorway is Rakish Audacity from Red Door Fibre Studio. I originally got this sock set as a part of the D&D club that they were doing. So this is the club sock base that I know has been discontinued. I believe this was a 4-ply. Pretty sure their sock base now is a 2-ply. Just for I know Kate's explained it before. It was like a whole shipping thing with minis, and she didn't want to mix 4-ply and 2-ply minis. Like, I get it. It's cool. So yeah, this was the club sock base, Rakish Audacity, and that is coming back soon. Next month in March, I believe, when Kate brings back all the D&D colorways as part of the D&D collection. Duh. So yeah, good stuff. Good socks. Those are all of my finished objects. I feel like this is gonna turn into like the longest portion of any knitting update. But if we're being honest, like now that I have expressed my utter joy in cranking socks, and especially shorties right now, I feel like in future knitting updates I'll be able to just like rapid fire be like, this one was knit in this colorway on this base from this dyer, and this one was knit in this colorway on this base from this dyer, and it'll be a lot better. So yeah, we made it through the first one, guys. Good job. We're just gonna move on now. I don't know what's going on with me today. But we're just gonna move into whips, and yeah, let's move into that. Move past the socks, because otherwise I will not stop talking about them. So going into whips now. Okay, we are in whip land, Whipville now. Works in progress. I only have one right now, which is wild because I have some cast-on energy, but right now, the past month has been very busy, hence the no knitting update until now. So whenever I would get cast-on energy, I would, like, in my brain just be like, do I really want to cast on something? Or do I just want to sit here on the couch with my project that's already ready to be worked on and just work on that for a little while longer? And so far, every single time, the latter has won out there. So I only have one whip, so here it is. Dun, 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 dun. This is probably a little hard to see on camera because of the color, but I will tell you that it is the Ranunculus sweater, and I am knitting it in Fixtures. So Fixtures was from the Cabin collection from Cesium Yarn and Rachel from Rachel is Knitting. They did a collab with a collection inspired by Rachel's family cabin, which was like the coolest thing. And as soon as I saw Fixtures, I was like, that is the perfect cool toned, dark brown, neutral that I want for my next ranunculus. I made a ranunculus last spring. It's really nice. It's pink. It's a variegated pink. I believe it was in Wildflowers from Hickory Lane Fibre Company, I believe. And it's a great spring sweater, spring tee. I made it short sleeved, a little bit cropped, everything. This one, I'm going full sweater, so we have a full sweater length. Actually, let me show you the back so you can see all the fun stitch markers I have, all the fun progress keepers. Vast majority of these are from Twin Veiled Artificer. Of course. Hi, Haley, if you're watching. Love you. Love your stuff. So we have all these progress keepers. The only one that's not Twin Veiled Artificer right now is this one. You're not going to be able to see it very well because my camera won't focus on it, but this is the fuchsia flower, aka purple underpants flower, that came with the yarn, and it was like a total surprise that we were getting these, so amazing. I love it. So this one I've actually been moving every day so that it's like that day's progress, and so like I'll put one of the other ones where it was previously, and then the little fuchsia flower, just to pay tribute to the cabin and the cabin collection and Rachel and Cesium Yarn and all the people that put hard work into this collection. This is the stitch marker I use every day. Anyway, that was a whole sidetrack of things. Anyway, I'm going crazy. No, I'm not. Ranunculus, I am doing a long sleeve version, as you could probably see on this, and I knit a full length body instead of a slightly cropped one like my pink one, and I am still deciding what to do about the neckline. I'll figure it out once I knit the second sleeve. But Rachel of Rachel is Knitting and the Cabin collection, that Rachel, Dr. Rachel, she recently knit a purple ranunculus, and she did a really nice like turtleneck neckline, so I'm also considering that for this one. I'm not typically a turtleneck person, but given that I went DK weight yarn for this one, and since it's knit in US 10s, it's a pretty loose gauge. Like, I can comfortably wear the pink one, which was also knit in a DK weight. I can comfortably wear that one on a not too hot day in the summer. So given that this one is meant to be a bit more of a fall, winter, early spring one, I think I could get away with a turtleneck for my comfort level. So yeah, there's a good chance that this will become a ranunculus turtleneck edition, which is super exciting. Yeah, I think I've talked about this long enough. I don't think I have anything else to say about it other than it's beautiful and I love it, and I'm super excited to have a neutral ranunculus added to my knitted wardrobe. So yeah, like I said, that is my only whip, so we're going to go ahead and move into a little goals check-in and a little bit of knitting plans. Okie dokie, I have my laptop out to update on knitting goals, so if you see me looking down, that's why. So one of my main knitting goals for 2024 was to learn how to use my sock machine to make socks. So that's kind of checked off. I have some other upcoming projects, plans for it, because I want to experiment with it a little bit. But I'll talk about that more probably in my next sock machine video. But I have learned how to use it to knit socks, which is fantastic. Another one of my knitting goals was to learn how to use Ashley's yarn inventory template better. So Ashley, if you don't know, is at Ben Knitter on Instagram and here on YouTube, I believe. And she has an amazing yarn inventory spreadsheet that she has put together. It is free to use. You can gain access to it through the link that's on her Instagram profile. And a while ago, I did do a full yarn inventory. Well, inventory of like hand-dyed and indie yarn. I didn't go all the way into like the various acrylics and stuff that I have, like the red hearts and the loops and threads and stuff. So yeah, the goal surrounding this, because I made my inventory spreadsheet in 2023, so the 2024 goal surrounding it was to just learn how to utilize it a little bit better. I haven't done that yet, so just being straightforward about that, I have not had the time to go back through and look at Ashley's a little bit more advanced tutorials that are on her Instagram in her story highlights, I believe. I just haven't had time, but that's okay because I did make my own spreadsheet recently. The spreadsheet that I made, I'll put up kind of like a little screen capture or something here so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. But the spreadsheet that I made for myself is a wearing my knits spreadsheet. This was inspired by Leslie from Knit California. She has a fantastic knitting journal that she keeps, and part of the things that she tracks over the course of every month and over the course of the year is whether she is wearing her knits or not and what knits she's wearing when she does wear knits. So I don't have a knitting journal. I mostly have logbooks for the things that I make because it's easier for me to keep up with that sort of thing. But I have decided to, I have a little note on my phone that every day I write down if I wore any knits and what knits I wore that day, if I did. So then at the end of the month, I go through that note and I input everything that I wore that month. And I'm pretty sure I have every knit in here, and that includes cranked socks, because I'm going to wear those a lot. And yeah, so I feel like it's becoming hard to explain without giving you a visual, so I will do my best to put up some visuals so you can see. But I have each month of the year listed out. I have days in the month. I have a spot for number of days knits were worn. And then I'll do like a percentage and all of this stuff. I'm thinking now that I should do maybe a separate video doing more of a deep dive into what I did for this spreadsheet. So if you would be interested in something like that, let me know. I'm not going to bore you with all the details of this. So I'm just going to tell you that in the month of January, I wore knits 30 out of 31 days. So that puts me at 96.77% of days that I wore knits. And then I have a whole bunch of graphs and charts showing which knits I wore when. And obviously right now the only bar on each of these, I'm losing my mind, on each of these charts is for January, but I'll still show you guys that. And yeah, you came here for a knitting update. I don't want to bore you with all the ins and outs of this spreadsheet, so I think I will do a little bit of like a spreadsheet tour in another video. But I'm tracking the knits that I wear every month. There we go. That's the gist of it. Right now my most worn sweater is a tie between, or for the month of January, it was a tie between this and my partner pullover, which is my purple and black one. That's really all you probably need to know from that right now. So yeah, what were we talking about? Goals. We were talking about goals. And let's see. What were my other big goals for... I should have brought this note over here. It's hanging up over there. I don't know if you can see it. You can't. Another one of my goals was 24 in 2024. So 24 things hand knit in 2024. I currently have 2 out of 24 things done. The Seasons Cardigan and my Moonrise Socks. My Fixtures Ranunculus will be number 3. And then I have a net negative goal for 2024 as well. Currently, my net stash change is at a negative 947 grams. So that is fantastic. A big chunk of that is the grams from all of the socks that I've cranked so far, and then also a big chunk was my Seasons Cardigan, because this had a finished weight of 643 grams. So, yeah, good stuff. I think that's where I'm going to start there with stop there with the goals talk. So I have 2 out of 24 things done, and I do currently have a net negative stash change. I feel like that is going to change. That is definitely something I'm still going to have to work on, because there are so many collections in the month of February that have either already happened or are happening this weekend that I either have bought or am buying yarn from. So Painted Fern had their Beneath collection. Mesomakes had their Vine collection, which was fantastic. I did not end up buying anything from the Explorer Knits monochrome collection. I really loved a lot of the colors, but I am trying to be more mindful with my yarn purchases, and nothing was really singing to me, or like jumping out to me from that collection for a pattern that I had in mind. So I know a lot of people got a lot of joy out of that collection, so happy for you. I didn't buy anything from that. And then this weekend, of course, we have Long Dog Yarn bringing back their Princess Bride collection. Treehouse Knits Winter Tonals, and I'm obsessed with the Bat Lair colorway. Is that what it's called? Maybe. The really dark purple. I'm gonna get that. And then I think those are the only 2 really for this week. But it has been a month of purples, that's for sure, for me. So yeah. That's goals. Let's real quick talk about some knitting plans that I am hoping to accomplish in the rest of the month of February. So knitting plans, let's get into that. I feel like this knitting update is already approaching being kind of long, so I'm going to try and make this section quick so you can get on with your day. So first, let's talk cranking plans. The yarn advent that I went with for last year, for 2023, was the Teeny Button Studio in the Stacks Sundays New Year countdown. So every Sunday in the month of December, we got a 50-gram skein, and it was inspired by just like cozy reading, cozy bookshop, library vibes. So this is end papers, book plate, dust jacket, and leather bound, and they are 50-gram skeins. My plans for these are, surprise, surprise, more shorties. There's a good chance when I am done recording this, I'm about to wind up end papers and crank out some shorties. So that's super exciting. And then I dropped this. On New Year's Eve, the last Sunday of December, we opened up a full skein. This is called In the Stacks, and this will also become a pair of cranked socks, probably a long pair, and then if I have enough left over, we'll have to see the rest of this, and then whatever's left over of these after some shorties will become like another shorty pair or something. But yeah, I think it's gonna work up really beautifully. There's so many muted purples and reds and blues and yellows and oranges in this, and I think it's just going to have a really nice, maybe even like a micro stripe effect. So exciting. More cranked socks. And then hand knitting plans. We are into the month of February, and I have not made a single thing from my Make 9. So I think I talked about it in my knitting goals video. I definitely posted about it on Instagram, so you could find it there. But the Make 9 was like 9 sweater projects that I chose that I hadn't done before and hadn't started already, like my Seasons cardigan, and that I already had yarn that I could use for in my stash. So I believe my next garment project, once I finish my Ranunculus, because I am so close to finishing that, I really think I'm going to finish it this weekend. Maybe not this weekend, but definitely by Valentine's Day, which I think would be fun, because it's like kind of a dark chocolate vibe, so maybe wearing that for Valentine's Day could be fun. Anyway, once I finish my Ranunculus, I think I am going to work on my first project from my Make 9 for this year, and that is going to be the Lento sweater, and this is the yarn I have picked for that. So this is Hello Stella fibers, their fingering, and then their Surrey alpaca base. This colorway is called Saffron, this one is Marigold, so I'm going to hold these two yellows together for a Lento. Main reason I'm picking the Lento first is it's a nice, easy raglan. That's what I hear from everybody that has made it. It's got another pretty big gauge, like it might be US 10s or 10.5s, but you still like use a DK or a fingering and a lace weight held together. So I think that'll be really good for me. If we continue to have a milder end of winter, it would be a really great sweater to have for right now, because it won't be like the heaviest sweater ever, so I could probably wear it right away. So yeah, Lento is the next garment plan currently. The other big contender for my Make 9 was the Seren sweater, and so I feel like that'll be next, but right now Lento is in the lead for my next garment. And then one other hand knitting plan that I have involves this sock set. So this is no surprise here when it comes to sock sets. The Little Foxes Red Fox sock base. This is the Beetlejuice sock set from their, I think, 2022 club, their sing-along club they were doing. So it is, of course, inspired by Beetlejuice, the musical. And I can't tell you what I'm gonna make with this yet, other than that it's socks and it's a pattern that has been bouncing around in my brain for a while now. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Gotta keep you excited. Gotta tease you a little bit about this. So yeah, very bright colors, very fun colors. I think it's gonna be great for this first sample for a pattern idea. So stay tuned. Keep up with knitting updates, or just follow me over on Instagram if you want to see this develop. Yeah, so that is the other hand knitting plan that I have. So that's all I'm going to talk about for knitting plans right now. Got some cranked, got some hand knit. I think we're just gonna call it there as far as knitting plans go, because otherwise I'll keep talking for like another hour maybe. Alrighty, yeah, so that is all that I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel, you can turn on notifications so you're notified whenever I upload a video, whether it be another knitting update, another sock machine video. I recently uploaded my first tutorial too, for the heel that's featured in the Moonrise Socks. Yeah, wide variety of things coming down the pipe, that's for sure. And yeah, if you're interested in anything that I mentioned in this video, whether it's my sock machine experiments that's coming up, if you want a deeper dive into my Wearing My Knits spreadsheet, just let me know in the comments. If you have thoughts on anything that I shared, let me know. happy to see all those comments. And yeah, that's really all that I have for you guys today. If you want to follow me over on Instagram, I am annabethkntwrthy with underscores between the words. That'll give you kind of a more daily update on all of my comings and goings in life, and also mostly in knitting. But yeah, other than that, I hope the start of the year has been kind to you. I hope the start of February has been kind to you, and most importantly of all, as always, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye! I'll see you in the next one.